It was one of those days when the sea looked calm, but something about it felt strange. The waves were gentle, the sky was clear, and everything seemed peaceful. Too peaceful. Miles away from the shore, a small fishing boat was drifting quietly with a single man aboard. His name was Daniel, a simple fisherman who had spent most of his life on the water. He didn't expect anything unusual that day, but what he found out there in the middle of the ocean changed his life forever. As Daniel leaned over the side of his boat, checking his nets, he noticed something odd bobbing up and down with the waves. At first, he thought it was just debris, maybe a floating log or seaweed. But as he squinted, trying to make out the shape, he saw a pair of eyes. Not just any eyes. These were large, golden, and filled with panic. His heart skipped a beat. It was a lion, a real lion, barely keeping its head above the water, struggling to stay afloat. For a moment, Daniel froze. His mind couldn't fully process what he was seeing. What on earth was a lion doing in the middle of the ocean? He immediately started his engine and steered the boat toward the struggling animal. As he got closer, the lion's condition became clear. It was exhausted. Its mane was soaked, clinging to its body. It could barely keep its head up, and its eyes kept slipping closed as if it were giving up. This mighty creature, known for ruling the savannah, was now helpless in the deep blue sea. Daniel knew he had to act fast. He didn't have fancy equipment or a team to help him, just his boat, his hands, and his heart. The lion wasn't aggressive. It was too tired to be. As the boat approached, it tried to paddle, but its movements were slow, almost defeated. Daniel grabbed a thick rope from the deck and carefully tossed it toward the lion. At first, the animal didn't react. But then, as if sensing that help had arrived, it nudged the rope with its nose and managed to hook one of its paws around it. With every bit of strength he had, Daniel pulled. The weight was unbelievable, and the ocean didn't make it easy. The boat rocked, the rope burned his hands, but he didn't stop. Inch by inch, the lion came closer until its front legs were hanging over the side of the boat. Getting the entire lion aboard wasn't possible, but Daniel managed to secure it so it wouldn't drown. He tied the rope gently but firmly, making sure the lion's head stayed above water while the rest of his body floated beside the boat. For the next few hours, Daniel slowly made his way back to shore, constantly checking on the lion. It blinked slowly, still breathing, but it was weak and shivering. News travels fast in small towns, and by the time Daniel reached the dock, a small crowd had gathered. No one could believe what they were seeing. A lion, a full-grown lion, saved from the middle of the ocean by a local fisherman. The local animal rescue team arrived and took the lion into their care. Vets examined him and found signs of dehydration, fatigue, and bruising, but no serious injuries. Everyone had the same question: how did he end up in the ocean? Later, it was discovered that the lion had escaped from a private illegal wildlife transport ship that had run into mechanical trouble a few days earlier. The animals were being moved across waters, and when the ship was forced to make emergency decisions, chaos broke out. Somehow, this lion had ended up overboard and had been drifting alone for nearly 2 days. Had Daniel not been there at the right time, the lion wouldn't have survived much longer. The story quickly spread beyond the town. People from around the country were moved by the fisherman's bravery and compassion. Photos and videos taken at the dock showed Daniel gently holding the lion's paw while it rested beside the boat. Many said it looked like the lion was saying thank you with its eyes. But for Daniel, it wasn't about being a hero. When asked why he did it, he simply said, "No one deserves to die scared and alone, not even a lion." Over the next few weeks, the lion was treated, fed, and slowly brought back to health. He was eventually sent to a wildlife sanctuary where he could live safely and freely. Daniel visited once before the lion was moved. When he stepped near the enclosure, the lion rose and walked to the edge of the fence, calmly looking at the man who had saved his life. They stood there for a long time. No words, no sounds, just a silent understanding between two very different beings. This story isn't just about an animal in danger or a man doing the right thing. It's about empathy, about how sometimes, when we're faced with the unexpected, our reaction defines who we really are. Daniel didn't look at the lion and see a wild beast. He saw a soul struggling to survive, and that made all the difference. In a world where we often hear about division and destruction, stories like this remind us of something powerful, that kindness still exists.